Take two, isang makakalikasang umaga sa ating lahat. Today we are celebrating wins for the environment, and we are gathered here to let the earth be heard in various spaces like the school, local and national agencies, and private sectors. This morning will put a smile on our faces, and I'm sure even our friends at sea and in the sky will be very happy with all the accomplishments that will be shared today. I would like to greet everyone a good morning, magandang umaga, maupay na umaga, maayong buntag. To everyone in the Zoom room and those of you in the Facebook live stream, welcome to the National Search for Sustainable and Eco-Friendly School Partners Forum, Advancing Sustainable Schools for the New Normal. The search is brought to you by the Environmental Management Bureau of the Department of Environment and Natural Resources. So you can show your support by changing your Zoom backgrounds that has been sent in our Zoom chat box by the DNR EMB team. All right. Now with the looming 2030 deadline, our efforts for climate change mitigation and environmental sustainability should be on top of our lists. Partnerships shouldn't be limited to development only, but more importantly, we should start conversations for multi-stakeholder partnerships for the environment. My name is Ryan Esolana, and I'm so honored to have been invited by EMB to host today's very significant event. I am the Advocacy and Communications Officer of the Association of Young Environmental Journalists, or AYEJ. Ang mission po namin bilang isang environmental nonprofit and startup media organization is to hashtag let the earth be heard through our different storytelling and capacity building strategies for the youth. And we will definitely let the earth be heard today as we all work together to amplify the stories of sustainable institutions for the new normal. This morning, we are joined by our biggest supporters from different agencies. On behalf of the DNR EMB, I would like to acknowledge the presence of Director Elenida Basog of DNR Climate Change Service, DNR EMB Central and Regional Offices, Regional Environmental Education Information Unit, the City Government of Santiago, Bintawan National High School, Santiago National High School, Ms. Cheryl Ramiro, Assistant Schools Division Superintendent of Quirino Province, Santiago North Central SPED Center, Isabela State University, Calapan City Adriatico Memorial School, Caranan North Elementary School, Tiwi Agro-Industrial School, University of Santo Tomas Legazpi, Cebu Normal University, Rosa El Susano Novaliches Elementary School, Bagong Silang Elementary School, DepEd San Juan, Sun Valley Elementary School, and last but never the least, and I'm sure DepEd Division Office of Surigao. Maraming salamat for joining us in this very memorable recognition of efforts for the earth. Today, we will be hearing more about the accomplishments and milestones of various institutions and organizations and their programs. Through this, we hope it will spark inspiration for people to collaborate and work together for a better planet. What a better way to start this program than with a solemn prayer to be led by Ms. Leza A. Cuevas and the singing of the Philippine National Anthem.
Good morning. Let us pray. Let us commit this very important activity to our God. Our gracious, loving God, we thank you and praise you for this wonderful day. Thank you for your sustaining grace and for your unfailing love to each one of us during the past days, weeks, and years of our lives, even during these trying times as we battle with the pandemic. We praise you, Heavenly Father, for giving us the opportunity to have this National Search for Sustainable and Eco-Friendly Schools Partners Forum with the theme Advancing Sustainable Schools for the New Normal. Thank you, Lord, that despite of the pandemic, we can still have productive meetings through online platforms. Thank you, dear God, for the availability of our participants from the national government agency, schools, and industry so that they can share with us their accomplishments and milestones. We pray that through this forum, we will be able to forge partnership with the national, local, and private sectors in advancing the national search for sustainable and eco-friendly schools for the new normal in order to strengthen the implementation of Republic Act 9512 or the National Environmental Awareness and Education Act of 2008. Father God, as we commit to you this meeting, may you be the one to give us wisdom and guidance during our discussions so that we can have a fruitful activity. This we pray in the mighty name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Amen.
Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas. Kayang mag-ibig, kaya sa silanganan, alam ng puso, sa titik mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, kuya ka ng magiting, sa manlulupin, di ka pasisigil, sa nagtatapulong sa tingin at sa langit ng pag-raw. Ay dinapangwala, ay sinama.
Paano mag-screen record sa laptop? Screen record.
Araw ng walang pagsinta, buhay langit sa piling mo. Ang higaya na pagkay marami, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
Alright, magandang umaga ulit sa ating mga kasama para sa kalikasan. Before we proceed, I would like to remind everyone to make sure that all of you, are on mute at all times so that we avoid distractions in our program. Now, we have been inside our homes for quite a long time already, which has posed another hindrance for us to be connected with the environment. But today, let us take a walk outside and appreciate the greenery, fresh air, and blue sky in the different presentations that will be shared. Now, the honor of welcoming us all to this occasion lies with no less than the Director of the Environmental Management Bureau of the DNR, Engineer William P. Conyado. A virtual round of applause, please. Okay, so while waiting for Engineer William, I would like to get to know sino yung mga kasama natin this morning. Sige nga, in your local dialect, greet po tayo ng good morning at kung taga saan kayo para malaman natin kung sino yung mga kasama natin this morning here in the Zoom room and also in our Facebook live stream. Alright, so for example, ako, good morning, my name is Ryan Asalana, maayong buntag from Dumaguete City. So, saan po yung mga kasama natin? Meron po tayong buenos dias from EMB Region 9, kung hindi ako nagkakamali. We have EMB NCR na imbag abigat yo kakabsat from Ilocos Sur. Alright, magandang umaga po sa ating lahat. Ayun, we have naimbag nga bigat from Santiago City, Region 2. And then marhay na aga po sa Gabos. Diyos ta uma bonde o from Isabela State University, Cabagan Campus. Magandang umaga from Caloocan City. Magandang umaga mula sa Calabarzon. Good morning, Maribel Soliven of Rosa Susano, native of Ilocos Sur. Ayun, so kung makikita natin, ang dami nating kasama all over the Philippines, no? Meron tayong from Surigao, ito lang kakapasok. We have from Isabela, ng Mindanao. Then diretso po tayo. Ako, from Dumaguete City, ng Negros Oriental. We also have our friends from North Luzon. Ayun, meron tayong Region 2, may Ilocos Norte, Pagudbod, Maupay na Aga from Eastern Visayas. Ayun, kompleto na po tayo yung ating presence sa lahat ng regional island groups. Ayun, maayong aga. Maayong buntag from Central Visayas. Okay. Ayun, sobrang dami natin this morning, no? Nakakatuwa na lahat tayo nagkakasama-sama, nagtitipon-tipon together to talk about issues or to talk about programs for the environment, especially with the looming 2030 deadline. Now, it seems that our honorable guest is ready. Again, the honor of welcoming us all lies with no less than the Director of the Environmental Management Bureau of the DENR, Engineer William P. Conyado. A virtual round of applause.
A pleasant day to everyone. On behalf of the Environmental Management Bureau of the Department of Environment and Natural Resources, I warmly welcome everyone to our Partners Forum for the National Search for Sustainable and Eco-Friendly School with the theme, Advancing Sustainable Schools with a New Normal. To our partners from the Department of Education, Commission on Higher Education, Technical Education and Skill Development Authority, and to everyone present today, thank you very much for your time. I hope you are all doing safe and well. The National Search for Sustainable and Eco-Friendly School is a program of EMB in partnership with the DepEd, CHID, TISDA, and the private sector's partners in response to Republic Act 9512 or the National Environmental Awareness and Education Act of 2008, held every 2 years, with the last being in 2019. The National Search aims to recognize educational institutions with a base sustainable and eco-friendly program, practices, and activities. Since 2009, we had been awarding and recognizing schools in elementary, secondary, and tertiary levels all over Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao for their efforts in waste management, water, electricity, and paper conservation, greening program, and most especially the integrations of the various environmental topics and concerns in the curriculum and instruction. We believe that the school system is a powerful agent of change. Through the National Search, we would like to send the message that appreciation for environmental protections, adoptions, and behavioral solutions in addressing climate change and in rising involvements and participations in environmental concerns among students, faculty, administrators, and stakeholders are very important. Now that the Philippines is slowly recovering the impact of the global pandemic, and that there have been a lot of discussions going on about the possible returns of face-to-face classes. We would also like to assist where we stand as far as the implementations and sustainability of the national search are concerned. That is why we have created these partners programs and invited all of you today. We would also like to know if our schools are truly ready for the new normal, what they had been doing since the pandemic began, and how are they imparting to our students and learners the importance of behavioral change and environmental awareness, especially on climate change. We will also be hearing from our past winners on how the national search has greatly made difference on their own schools, and what are they doing to sustain the various programs and initiatives that made them winners, and what they can share to move forward and become better, not just for their students, but also for the communities where they belong. Once again, thank you very much for sharing your time with us. I look forward to hearing your success stories and to a very fruitful and productive morning ahead. Once again, good morning everyone.
Ayun, maraming salamat. Engineer William Cunyado, for sharing with us the story of the environmental programs that the DNR supports. Truly, we will be hearing more stories, successful stories this morning. Now, let's start with an overview of national policies and programs on environmental awareness and education. We welcome the Undersecretary for Field Operations and Environment of the Department of Environment and Natural Resources, Attorney Juan Miguel T. Cuna. Take it away, Attorney.
On behalf of the Department of Environment and Natural Resources, allow me to welcome everyone to this National Search for Sustainable and Eco-Friendly School Partners Forum, Advancing Sustainable Schools for the New Normal. I would like to thank our partners from the Department of Education, Commission on Higher Education, and from the private sector, Nestle Philippines, for being a part of this noteworthy undertaking. DNR recognizes that the educational system plays a vital role in our basic learning. Any program focused on advocacy within our academic institutions, especially relating to environmental concerns, is a powerful strategy to incite change. On this premise, the National Search for Sustainable and Eco-Friendly Schools was launched in 2009 by the DNR through EMB in collaboration with the Department of Education and the Commission on Higher Education. The nationwide search encourages schools and academic institutions to become more actively involved in environmental issues and increase community awareness and participation on environmental concerns. With the support of our private partners, special category leadership awards were included to the search, namely Nestle Philippines for the Water Leadership Award, One Meralco Philippines for the Energy Leadership Award, and Land Bank of the Philippines and Smart Communications for the Green Leadership Award. The search started in 2009 with 148 participating schools, and at present has recognized 483 schools as regional and national champions. These came from various urban and rural cities and regions in the Philippines. More than the increasing numbers of participating and winning schools, it is important to note the schools' active responses and participation on environmental concerns. The Eco-Friendly Schools program generated positive responses not only from schools but also from the private sector. In the ASEAN community, the ASEAN Eco School program includes an ASEAN Eco Schools award-giving ceremony held every 3 years. First held in 2012, the ASEAN Eco School Award is given to selected primary and secondary schools in recognition of their efforts in promoting and implementing environmental activities. 6 schools from the National Search for Eco Schools winners have received this prestigious award. These were Dubilan Elementary School in Santiago, Isabela, Ateneo de Davao High School, Iliran Elementary School in San Carlos City, Negros Occidental, Camarines Sur National High School, Payout Elementary School in Binalbagan, Negros Occidental, and Divisoria High School. The Philippines is also one of the 2 ASEAN member states involved with the global search for sustainable schools. 5 schools from the National Search Eco Schools program were recognized, and these were Agusan del Sur National High School, Caranan North Elementary School, Pasacao Camarines Sur, Concepcion El Caseñas Memorial School, Abaca, Tobias Fournier Antique, Santiago City National High School, and Santiago North Central SPEB Center. An international exchange program was also spearheaded by the Philippines. The study tour showcased best performing eco schools in the Cagayan Valley region as an example and inspiration to countries across the ASEAN region. These are just some of the testaments of the program's success in the promotion of eco-friendly schools. Moving forward, the COVID-19 pandemic resulted in schools around the country being temporarily shut down, causing the rise of modular and e-learning. This brought a challenge in the sustainability of eco-schools programs, which are heavily dependent on the school's physical operation. As the Philippines battles with the pandemic, schools have started and pursued collective efforts to channel the implementation of environmental policies to households. Environmental education is still integrated in lessons, but now green actions such as waste generation, water, and energy conservation, refusing single-use plastics are now monitored to be practiced at home. With these, we hope to strengthen further the program's role in promoting behavioral change and encouraging the school community to adopt sustainable lifestyles and make the shift to environmentally friendly alternatives. Eco schools provide guidance and educate not only its students, but also families and communities. Once again, thank you to DepEd, CHED, Nestle, and all our previous partners. We welcome new partners to help make this program more meaningful for every school in the country. Being an eco school is a commitment. It is a way of life, not just for the academic institution, but also for the communities that thrive in a clean, safe, and healthy environment. Let us look forward to more decades of recognizable, notable educational institutions that breathe and live their green hearts and minds for the environment. Maraming salamat. Isang makakalikasang araw po sa ating mga.
Ayun, maraming salamat. Thank you so much, Attorney Kuna, for sharing with us. Din ko na na-realize sobrang prestigiyoso po natin na we're not only awarding institutions in the national level, but we're also pitching them to the ASEAN regional and even the global stage. And I also like to emphasize how our institutions, our schools are still pursuing their efforts for the environment despite the pandemic that we are facing. That's a really huge feat, not only for the schools, not only for DepEd, not only for DNR, but also for the environment itself. Now, before we proceed, I would like to remind our participants here in the Zoom room and our Facebook live stream to keep the conversation going. So continue to share with us your insights, your thoughts, your ideas by sharing them in the Zoom chat box and comment section. If there are questions that pop into your mind, feel free to chat and share them as well. Now at this juncture, let's roll the stories, starting with our friends who planted the seed of our reason today. Mr. Juliven R. Abria earned his Bachelor of Science degree in Physics for Teachers, cum laude, at the Philippine Normal University in 2006. He further studied Master of Arts in Science Education with a specialization in physics in the same university. His first foray into government was when he served as a science teacher, handling various science and research subjects in the secondary level. Prior to his appointment in the government service, Mr. Abria worked as an assistant professor and part-time lecturer to several private universities. He has authored college physics textbooks and served as an editor of High School Science Textbook Series. Friends, to talk about the National Eco-Friendly School Program of the Department of Education, please help me welcome Senior Education Program Specialist in the Bureau of Learning Delivery of the Department of Education Central Office, Mr. Juliven R. Abrea. Take it away, Mr. Abrea.
Hello, good morning to all, and good morning to our friends from the Department of Environment and Natural Resources. And thank you so much, Sir Ryan, for that kind introduction. Before I begin, I'll just would like to share my slide. Okay, so I hope my slide is being shown now. And so once again, a pleasant morning to everyone, a pleasant morning to all the participants and to the attendees of this forum on National Search for Sustainable and Eco-Friendly School Partners. And DepEd likewise would like to extend its gratitude to the Department of Environment and Natural Resources and the Environmental Management Bureau for the invitation to this activity. Our Bureau Director or my Bureau Director in the Bureau of Learning Delivery, Director Laila Ariola, also sends her greetings of thanks to the Environmental Management Bureau, headed by Director William Cuñado, and as well to DNR Undersecretary Attorney Juan Miguel Cuna. So the Department of Education is very much pleased to share its programs and initiatives related to eco-friendly schools and on sustainable development in a more general perspective. So the Department of Education is a firm believer that and as well supporter of the Filipino learners has a great role being a catalyst for environmental change. It has always encouraged the active participation of our teachers, learners, even the parents, and other educational stakeholders in promoting awareness and the immediate need for sustainable development, as this is part of the Sustainable Development Goal or the SDG, if we are aware of that, of the United Nations. And also part of this action is having a concrete actions of all DepEd personnel in our office, in our field offices, the regional, the division offices, and the school, as well as the learners, to be prime movers in promoting environment-friendly actions, such as being eco-friendly living, having protection to the environment, then preservation of the natural resources, and even promotion or promoting sustainable lifestyle. And the DepEd, as one of main trusts, as you see on the screen, and is very committed with our core values. And one of our core values that really we would like to have our learners to imbibe the love for nature and environment directed in this DepEd core values, as I mentioned, being makakalikasan. And every personnel of the Department of Education and the learners are also encouraged to practice this core value of being makakalikasan. Yan. DepEd fully supports the government program called the National Greening Program, pursuant to the Executive Order 26 of 2011. As we know, this executive order stipulated the roles of various government agencies, including the DNR and the DepEd, on the promotion of food security, poverty reduction, biodiversity conservation, climate change mitigation, and adaptation. So the department, on its part, issued this DepEd Order number 5 series of 2014 called the Implementing Guidelines on the Integration of Gulayan sa Paaralan or Solid Waste Management and Tree Planting under this National Greening Program of the government. And DepEd, this DepEd order provides a department-wide umbrella program on the biodiversity conservation and climate change mitigation and adaptation. And one of the objectives of the program is to enhance the development of values among the learners by integrating curricula concepts in planting and eating vegetables, waste management and environment protection, and even land conservation, among others. Also, under this order, the following important program components are being enumerated. So we have here the Gulayan sa paaralan. We also have the ecological solid waste management and the tree growing and caring. So these three components may be implemented simultaneously in the school or combination depending on the capability or capacity of the school. So if we will have the Gulayan sa paaralan, so this encourages each school to establish vegetable garden as a ready source of vegetable for their supplementary feeding. Also, the school can plant variety of vegetable to address micronutrient deficiencies, example of which the vitamin A, iodine deficiencies, and the like, because the school will be primarily the one to consume the products of their vegetable garden. And also, however, a garden produce, the product of their garden may also be sold to the community. Those excess product may be sold to the community as well income generating of the school that would finance some of the expenses needed for the vegetable garden. Okay, for the ecological solid waste management, we have here incorporation of ecological waste management in school level. In school system at all levels, meaning in the division offices and regional offices, we are also practicing this. Okay, so then teaching and non-teaching personnel are also encouraged to do this. And how is this being done? So the schools should practice waste management practices such as waste segregation, the recycling and reuse of recyclable materials, composting, in order to promote environmental awareness, okay, and action among the learners. It as well encourages the schools to conduct school-based activities that promote environmental education. Okay, so what are these possible activities that can be conducted by the school? Okay, under this, so we could have the prohibition of littering or burning of waste, institutionalized waste minimization, and promote avoidance of the single-use plastics or products, encouraging students to bring their own trash, okay, home, and as well establish some system of processing biodegradable wastes, and as well use of recyclable materials, among others. So again, this will contribute to the promotion of environmental awareness, okay, among our students. And this third one, the tree growing and caring, so this activity, just to emphasize, is to be conducted depending on the agreement and coordination with the National Greening Program Task Force in the provincial or community level. And this is especially true for the selection of tree planting sites in the community. So how is this being done? So we have here the grade 5, grade 6, and high school students will be the one involved in the actual tree planting activities, while the kindergarten and the grade 4 learners and those who are not physically fit may have the following activities. So they would be the one watering the plant, weeding, the waste segregation, and so on, depending on their physical capability. Okay, we also have here DepEd Order number 223 series of 2016, the strengthening of implementation of Gulayan sa paaralan in the public elementary and secondary school nationwide. So as I earlier mentioned, so the Gulayan sa paaralan aims to promote food security in school, community through self-help food production activities and values among learners and appreciation of agriculture as a life support system. And it covers the establishment again of the vegetable garden, as I mentioned. Okay, and as well, it could have, this garden could also have some nursery planting. It could also have the propagation of medical plants. Okay, have some school landscape of vegetable development, the crop museum, and some related livelihood activities. Okay, and this is also based on what the school can offer. So a school can have all of those components, which I have mentioned, but some may choose could have only what is suitable to them. So specifically for schools with limited areas, Okay, for planting, they would just adapt vertical or upward gardening along their fences and still come up with their vegetable garden or their gulayan sa paaralan. Okay, so these are the components of the gulayan sa paaralan. So we have here capacity building. So under this, orientation activities for the school administrators and teachers are being conducted. Trainings on the topics related to vegetable production or urban container and backyard gardening, organic fertilizer, seed production and storage, etc. are being cascaded to the school personnel. Okay, we also have here another component, establishment, maintenance, and sustainability of school gardens. So in here, each school will have a minimum of 200 square meter as prescribed in this DepEd memo. For the schools without those space or have some of the area of the school are being flooded, they may adopt the container gardening or the upward gardening that I have mentioned earlier. And again, just to emphasize, the vegetables that are highly encouraged to be planted here are the vegetables which are source of protein, source of energy, and source of vitamins and vitamin A and iron. Okay, so those are commonly vegetable being planted in these schools are the malunggay, saluyot, alugbati, ayan, kangkong, kamatis, pechay, and so on. Okay, so we also have here utilization of garden yields and proceeds. So how are those yields and products of the garden being used? So primarily for feeding. So for feeding the learners in the school and for the teachers' consumption as well. However, the excess vegetable may also be sold for generating income and to buy for the ingredients in the feeding and planting needs. So we also have here the nutritional or the advocacy campaign, the nutritional dimension of the food production and the related messages or the ideas of that, okay, shall be taught to the learners through integration to appropriate learning areas. So what are these learning areas or subject areas which these messages, environmental awareness can be integrated? So we have here the health component of the MAPE. Okay, we could also integrate this in science or in EPP and TLE. Okay, there are also some contests being conducted, okay, that would create awareness among the learners and stakeholders of this activity. We'd have the Nutrition Month during July. To poster, yung example of this contest would be the poster making contest, slogan making contest, and cooking contest. Okay, also important to note and aspect of this is that DepEd is also partnering with the PTA or the Parent Teachers Association involvement in the whole project. And this is to ensure that even the parents and the community where the school belong are also involved. Okay, so we have here another important component of Gulayan.
Okay, it's about climate change. And the
Sir July, I think you're on mute.
Okay, so I think I was muted a while ago nung may nagsasalita. Okay, so again, just to have this slide, so as mentioned, no, yung partnership component ng program is very much important. So the DepEd school and field offices work in partnership with stakeholders in the national, provincial, and even in the municipality level, in the community level, to maintain the school garden all year round. And we are as well thankful to DNR with our partnership with this eco-friendly school activity that we also strengthen this activity of DepEd. Okay, and we also have our own search and award for this Gulayan sa Paaralan. So we have here schools and field offices may give recognition to the best implementers of that Gulayan sa Paaralan project, search for outstanding teacher, or search for the best implementer school are being conducted. Okay, so apart from the Gulayan sa Paaralan, DepEd has also some internal memo or internal DepEd order would also recognize establishment of environment Youth for Environment in Schools, or the YESO organization. Primarily, these are the group of learners who manage the Gulayan sa Paaralan, no? So this emphasizes the need for a recognized co-curricular environmental organization in the public school. So basically, its aim is to establish specific and doable project and activities by the learners that would address issues and concern on the environment. Okay, we also have here to encourage the community participation and initiative in some initiatives in environment and ecological movement in action. Also, we have another parallel depend order regarding this, the ESO program. Okay, that specifies what would be the mandate of the program and what would be some activities that can be done by the learners. So, nandito yung mga examples of the programs or activities that can be done by the school. Yeah, so example of which are this seed bank and nursery establishment, so plant growing, caring for the trees, awareness campaign, yan, having symposia, outreach program, waste management, watershed protection, until up to environment camps. Okay, so this was true during the face-to-face or during pre-pandemic time, okay? And just to note that we are now in pandemic. Now, most of these activities were paused or rested for the meantime, since the focus of the Department of Education is on the implementation of the distance delivery modality in which the schools, the teacher, and the learners, parents are still coping and adjusting and adapting to this new environmental context. So, however, there are some schools with learners and parents, their initiative, they are also capable of doing some online activities, online webinars among the learners, online information drives and campaigns, and those are still encouraged to still promote awareness and environment protection, the awareness of the environment protection and sustainable development, even in the time of pandemic, even in our present situation. Okay, so apart from what I have mentioned, so there are also some initiatives by the curriculum and instruction. So this is the bureau, or this is the strand in the DepEd Central Office where I belong. Okay, so basically the department put premium as well on the quality of the content of instruction and the learning resources, which involve the promotion of awareness of environmental protection and sustainable development. As I mentioned, this is the task of the curriculum and instruction strand in the CO, and we have seen the need to integrate the actual integration of the identified learning competencies in the learning materials or in the self-learning modules, which are now being used in the schools. Okay, so how are these being done? So we have conducted identification of the competencies in the curriculum that explicitly related to environmental education and sustainable development. We have as well have this development of teaching and learning resources that show how these competencies are integrated in the actual teaching and learning process, even in the remote learning. Okay, so what we have in the central office is this greening program, which aim to really teach deliberately the sustainable development through the acquisition of the green skills and the 21st centuries by the learners. Okay, in the different teaching and learning process, pedagogical strategies, models, and variety of modalities across the K-12 curriculum. We have already conducted the phase 1 of this program. So it involves the 8 learning subject areas. So we have here some of the intended output that we'll be having: the self-learning modules, advocacy material or advocacy learning material, supplementary informative videos, and other learning resources. So again, so these are some of the things that we are currently doing, and perhaps by next year we'll be finishing this. Okay, while the schools are not yet operating, so we are preparing these materials because we really believe that having this information drive, these materials would really help our learners really acquire the needed knowledge or competencies, which they can be applied. The learners can apply these concepts into their everyday activities, even in the promotion of later on the activities of the Gulayan sa Paaralan and so on, as well as the management of their waste materials or products. All right. So again, the Department of Education and my specific bureau, the Bureau of Learning Delivery, is more than willing to work hand in hand with other agencies, specifically with the DNR, okay, to restore or about restoring environmental situation of our country and holistically promote and environmental awareness and sustainable development awareness. And the DepEd is really committed in developing Filipino learners' love for nature and environment. So once again, the Department of Education, on behalf of the Department of Education, I would like to sincerely thanks the Department of Environment and Natural Resources, the Environmental Management Bureau for this activity. And I hope our partnership will continue because we know that this has a positive impact not only in the education, but as well in our environment. So once again, good morning to everyone.
Ayun, maraming salamat, Mr. Abriano. I'm very stunned to know how these programs have survived through different circumstances, even in the pandemic. And it's also nice to hear na the DepEd is very much willing to work with other government agencies in pursuit of environmental sustainability. Now, before I proceed, I would like to acknowledge the presence of the EMB Regional Director, Reynaldo Digamo of Region 10. Now, I'm sure a lot of you have questions, so let them be known by chatting in the Zoom chat box or commenting in our Facebook live stream. At alam ko, merong nag-raise na ng hand kanina. Mukhang excited po na magtanong. So, meron po ba tayong mga tanong for Sir Abrea? Ayun. We already have one from Rabbi Chris Carvajal. How will DepEd address the lack of educational programs, curricula, or teaching strategies in some schools that engage learners to practice environmental protection and preservation? As noticed during our eco-friendly schools validation visit, there's a high level of environmental awareness among the students, but they were poor in terms of environmental praxis.
Okay, so thank you so much for this question by Sir Rabbi Carvajal. No? So as really the mandate of the Department of Education, no, to really inculcate among our learners this competencies, this content of our curriculum to have this actual or integrate among really themselves the proper awareness, proper concept, and proper information regarding environmental protection and awareness. I think, well, as I mentioned, this is really the core subject of the Department of Education. That they should be aware first. They should have this concrete knowledge first for them to apply this into actual or everyday living. Okay, that's why we are really putting it into learning resources materials. So we haven't finished yet with these materials that really involve the actual on how teachers would really apply these competencies. We already had identification of the competencies. Okay, and I think that's a good start because from there we can really now design how are these information, how are these competencies can be actually manifest in the lesson. Okay, and that we are now doing. So perhaps by next year we could have an actual output on this and cascade it into the division offices, to the regional offices, and even to the schools for them to really now use this into their teaching, even in the remote teaching, that would serve as well as a good input to provide nga yung sinabi ni Sir dito kanina, no, na yung kakulangan nun sa ating mga learners in terms of this knowledge.
Yun, maraming salamat, Sir July. Do we have any other questions? Pero while waiting, sabi ni Ma'am Marcela Ortega, may we have a copy of your slides daw po? Pwede niyo po ba daw i-share yung copy ng slides ninyo? Okay. Do we have any?
Yes, Sir Ryan, I have already, I think, forwarded it to one of the staff of EMB.
EMB, okay. We hope EMB can share that as well after the program. Do we have any other questions for Sir July? All right. Kung wala na, Sir July, do you have a last few words you want to share with everyone in the call?
Again, thank you so much for the EMB for this invitation. And again, I'm looking forward for this partnership for the search of national eco-friendly and sustainable schools. And you are this program. We will be working on it with you, close coordination with you for this endeavor to be successful for our school, for our division and regional offices to be cooperative of this activity and endeavor, because we have seen really the importance of this, especially in our context today.
Ayun, maraming salamat, Sir July. But before you make your exit, we would like to project our token of appreciation for you for today's engagement. Thank you for joining us. May we have the certificate pulled up, please? Ayun. So, the Department of Environment and Natural Resources Environmental Management Bureau Certificate of Appreciation is presented to Mr. Juliven R. Abrea for his valuable contribution as guest speaker during the National Search for Sustainable and Eco-Friendly School Partners Forum, Advancing Sustainable Schools for the New Normal. Given this 10th of November 2021, signed OIC, EMB, EEID, Ms. Karen and Ann Pakpaco, and Assistant Director Engineer Visminda A. Osorio. Again, maraming salamat, Sir July, for joining us this morning.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much to EMB. Thank you so much to Ryan. And the pleasure is mine.
Ayun. So, maraming salamat din na Sir July for mga nakakamanghang kwento. It's truly inspiring to know that there are government institutions that take the environmental agenda seriously. Truly, the journey to sustainability is a lot easier because of you. So, are we ready to hear more stories? So, show how you feel. Pakita natin kung ano yung mga nararamdaman natin as we proceed to our next segment and next set of speakers. So, pakichat in our Zoom chat box or our Facebook live stream your emotions through your emojis. Share tayo ng emojis kung ano yung mga nafe-feel natin. Okay, share po natin. Can we get our emojis flowing? So, for example, ako, happy emoji. I'm very happy to be here this morning and to meet everyone. Ayun, do we have emojis coming? Hindi po ba tayo excited? Ayun, sabi ni Ms. Merva, heart reaction sa mukha, sa eyes natin. Sabi ni Ka Pedro, I'm happy, very happy si Ka Pedro. All right, thank you so much for sharing, Miss Josephine, your hearts, and Miss Jonaline and Ma'am Marcela. So moving forward with our conversation, we now explore the journey and success stories from the grassroots. As important as people in government to activate for the earth, we also need the work to be in communities. And what better way to strengthen this narrative than to hear the journey and success stories from our awardees and communities for the National Search for Sustainable and Eco-Friendly Schools. We will start off with our friends from Payout Elementary School from Binalbagan, Negros Occidental. Our speaker is a true Binalbagan Catholic College alumni who took her elementary, secondary, and tertiary education in the same college. She took her Master of Arts in Education, major in Administration, and Supervision at STI West Negros University, and her Doctor of Philosophy in Educational Management from the same university. To talk about being loyal, very loyal po yung first guest natin this morning. With her supportive principal, Miss Glenda Agapito, please help me welcome Miss Athena Lourdes S. Esmaquilan.
Good morning, everyone. So it's a very nice to be here. So let me share my screen. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, yes po,
Okay.
yes.
Okay, so
Ayun, good morning po. From the other side. Good morning from the other side of Negros.
yes po. Wait for. Can you see my screen now, sir?
Not yet pa po.
Okay.
Ayan, nakikita na po namin yung screen niyo po.
Okay. So, hello everyone. So good morning to our highly esteemed Director of EMB DNR, Engineer William P. Cconducted, to the Undersecretary of DNR for Field Operation Environment, Attorney Juan Miguel T. Cuna, to the Assistant Director EMB, Engineer Visminda A. Osorio, to the OIC Environmental Education and Information Division of AMB, Ms. Karen Ann F. Pakpako, to the different representative from Department of Education, to Sir Abria, to the representative from CHED, from TESDA, ang mga kasama po namin in promoting eco-friendly and sustainable schools, the Divisoria High School, the Visayas State University, our environment private partners, the Nestle Philippines, Juan Miralco Foundation, everyone from all over the Philippines, good morning. So it is a great privilege for me to be here in this very important event to share our school's success journey towards successfully attaining an eco-friendly and sustainable school. So let me tell you first about our location or our school. So our school, the Payout Elementary School, is a barangay school located at Barangay Payout, Bilbagan, Negros Occidental. It is a 12 kilometers away from the town proper. A 30 minutes ride if you're riding a tricycle, which is our main mode of transportation here. Barangay Payout is also known for being the rice granary of Bilbagan. A simple place. Most of the people here are farming, and most of the people are living humbly and simply. So our success story is not an overnight trophy. It is a result of our hard work, our perseverance, our cooperation, our unity, our passion for the last 6 years. So this is our story from trash to treasure. So when did we begin? Where and how? Hello po. So it all started when our former principal, Miss Annabel Alipuon, together with our school agriculture teacher, Zenonita Imalay, began to convert an idle lot full of trash of over 20 years that is at the back of our school to a useful organic gulayan sa paaralan. So this is our backyard before. It is full of trash for more than 20 years. It is piling and it has overgrown grasses. So with the help of our teachers, parents, stakeholders, LGUs, and private individuals, we successfully converted this trashy land into a bountiful and beautiful and very productive organic sagulayan. So it is not just our work. This is the work of everybody, of our community, of our parents, of our teachers, of our pupils, of our stakeholders, and our partners. So little by little, we then started our other programs. that could help lessen our school waste to prevent the trash from piling again by strengthening our waste management and segregation through putting segregated waste bins waste bins that are labeled all over our places of all over the school. So we also have, as initiated by Eco Police officers, we have the Project ESB, or the Eco Sling Bags, where pupils wear sling bags made from recycled materials all the time to make sure that there is no littered trash around the school. So this become a habit for everybody. So because of this, we don't have littered trashes all over the school because they have to put their trash in their eco sling bag. So from there, from the waste from our segregated trash bins, we converted our dilapidated classroom into a waste segregation facility. So in here, we have 2 rooms for non-bio waste and for our bio waste. So our non-bio waste, such as plastics, bottles, cans, are moved into MRF to be used again, to be recycled, to be made into another useful products, or to be repurposed, like making a plant boxes, making pots for our plants. So for our plastic wrappers and bags, we shredded it into pieces through our municipal waste management. And then we combine it to our cement to make walks. So like this one. And some of it are made into pillows for our school. And others are for eco bricks. These eco bricks, we use this in making our plant boxes. And also later on, we promote a zero plastic waste. So because we have no plastic waste anymore, because we repurpose it, we reuse it, and we lessen our plastic waste. So later on, we promote a zero plastic waste in our school and encourage our pupils to bring their own water bottles or snack boxes for their food. We discourage the use of single plastic wrappers in our canteen and promote healthy food wraps in like banana leaves and paper. So our non-bio waste, like twigs, leaves, are shredded for faster decomposition in the compost pit and vermicomposting. These are then used as organic fertilizer for our gulayan sa paaralan. This shredder are donated by a private organization to our school to be used for our gulayan sa paaralan. So we're very thankful for them. So each room also have scratch paper tray for paper waste. These papers were used to make instructional materials, and the unusable paper are turned into paper charcoal for cooking. So we also teach our pupils how to make paper charcoal, so they can use it also in their homes and their everyday life as well. As our gulayan become productive, we need more water. So that is why we started to build a rain harvester to conserve water. From 2 water harvesters in 2016, we have now a total of 10 water harvesters all over the school with the help of our LGU. And hopefully, we are planning to build more inside our school. So another way for us to conserve water is our project VGs. So what is this project VGs? So VGs came from vertical gardening, gains intervention on El Nino shocks. So how does it work? So it is a very wise way to plant vegetables. In a vertical way, it is space saver. At the same time, it is water saver because you'll need to do is to put water at the top of the plants, and the water will drain below and will flow downwards, which is very fast, which is faster to water the plants, and it is very good in conserving water. So we also put signages about water conservation to remind everyone to preserve our water, and also we make sure there is no leaking pipes all over our place. So we have this H2O organization, H2O club, which is consists of pupils. Every afternoon, they will go around the school to make sure there is no leaking pipes, there is no open faucet, and they will close it, and they will notify the teachers if there is a leaking water or leaking pipes. So as our water bill drops, we thought, why not do this also to our electricity? So luckily, with the help of our LGU, we installed 2 solar panels which powered our lights through the night. So we also put signages to remind about the energy conservation, and also we changes all the bulbs, all the light bulbs in our school into LED lights, which is more energy saver than the fluorescent one. So we saw the great improvement of our school after 3 years. With the support of the teachers, the pupils, the stakeholders, the parents, and the community. With this, we decided to pay forward to the community with the different programs we launched. So firstly, the Project REST. So what is Project REST? So Project REST meaning recruitment structure. So this is giving of fish from our fingerlings in our pond, in our Gula. We have a small pond in our Gulayan sa Paralan. So if ever there are many fingerlings, we shared it to others, to our parents who want to have a small pond in their homes. So it's either for their food sustainability or to sell. If they have also many fingerlings later on, they will share it also to other people, to other parents, or to other community who want also to have small ponds in their backyards. So with this, many people will have livelihood and food sustainability of their own. So we have also Project Rise, which means river seeding. So these river seedings, some of our fingerlings from our pond in our Gulayan sa Paralan were also seeds into the river in our barangay to give sustainable fish supply to the community that is free. So we go far with our passion and mission to help our future generation eliminate climate change by joining the Mangrove Planting with the teachers and eco-police in a small islet in our town, the Sitio Nabuswa. So we've been helping preserving our mangroves, our watershed, for the last 4 years now. So this is our mangrove planting. But sadly, due to pandemic, we haven't done this activity for a while because of the restrictions going there. But we hope, we're planning, we're planning, and we're hoping we can continue this year and the next years to come. So we pay forward more through the protecting our future by tree planting, because we all know our future depends on the trees. This is also the best way to eliminate climate change. For the last 4 years, we began planting trees in the Sitio Nasanagan and Sitio Binadlan. This is a mountain area of our town. It is 12 to 14 kilometers away from Payout, 20 kilometers, I think, from Binalbagan. So it is a mountainous area, and on that time, 4 years ago, it is very inaccessible. We have to ride horses. We have to request big hammer trucks from our LGU just to pursue our passion for tree planting. So this area is also a home for our indigenous people, which is the Bukidnon Magahat tribes. So they are our partners in preserving and in maintaining our plants and our planted trees in the Sitio Nisanagan and Sitio Binadlan. So during the pandemic, we cannot have our tree planting activity, but this didn't stop us from making ways to combat climate change. So what did we do? So we contacted our children, our parents through messenger, through calls, and encouraged them to plant for our program, which is One Child, One Tree. So we encourage pupils to plant 1 fruit-bearing trees in their backyards. So this not only give more oxygen to their homes, but also can provide food sustainability to their family later on. Plants is a great source of oxygen and food. So we also put up the aquaponics. So this aquaponics is for a space saver, as well as it filter the waste from our fishes in our pond to make the water clean again. And also we have the hydroponics to promote also more vegetables. It also promotes space saver for our plants. And also it is easier to be planted anywhere in our school. So we don't need to plant just in the Gulayan Saparan alone. We also have plants through hydroponics all over our school. And also we have our Project Poso. So what is this Project Poso? So Project Poso, it means Poso Negro Occupied Space for Organic Library. This was a dilapidated or old Poso Negro. So we converted it into a organic library, or we fondly call it Hotel Poso Negro. So in here, this is a simple bahay kobo, but in here, pupils can learn a lot about organic agriculture, organic planting. So we have books here and learning materials about it. And they can also stay here if during recess time, so they can eat their snacks here while learning. So our Gulayan Saparan have been a blessing to everyone. Not only it educates children about organic gardening, it becomes also the source of food for our low-performing pupils during lunch. So we get here our lunches for low-performing pupils. So we have, we all know that in Deep Ed, we have this SBFP, school feeding program. So this SBFP is for the severely wasted pupils and wasted pupils. So there's no food, lunches for the low-performing pupils. So how about them? Most of the low-performing pupils are from the poverty line. So we lunches this one. So we get our food for we get our food from our gulayan sa Parlan, and then we identify the slow learners and give them free lunches in our school. So during the lockdowns, so this is our challenges. So what did we do with our gulayan sa Paralan? So we sustain it. Why? So led by our former school head, Ma'am Winona Hilioano, we didn't think twice to open this to the community. We shared our products to the family nearby to make sure they have nutritious food in these trying times. We also shared some of our vegetables to our frontliners who were risking their lives during this time to keep us safe. So these are the parents from the community around the school. So during the pandemic, they went here to get vegetables for their food. So speaking of food sustainability, last 2017, we launched the Gulay Itusok sa Bawat Sulok program. So what is this program? So we planted vegetables at the available spaces with no ornamental plants around the school. And then, as extension of this program, we encourage parents and the community to plant vegetables in their idle lot at home so that they can have sustainable, free, and nutritious food for their family, especially for our children. This program saved a lot of family during lockdowns, as they have already unavailable vegetables in their homes that they can use. So this has been a long journey, fruitful journey for our school. So we are so very happy to be part of the Environmental Management Bureau's program, which is the Eco-Friendly and Sustainable School. So this not only help our school, but also our children, our community. We've learned a lot that small habit, just like putting trashes in proper places or using reusable cups and containers can give big help to save our environment for the future generations. This is not just a story of success. This is a story of unity, love, and passion to save our Mother Earth. That even the pandemic cannot stop us from promoting our sustainable activities. So together, everyone, we can achieve a miracle to turn trash into treasures. Thank you, everyone, for listening to our humble story.
Ayun, maraming salamat, Miss Athena. So we learned from Miss Athena's presentation, no, na zero waste is not impossible because it's already happening in Negros Oriental from Payout. And I really appreciate that your projects are all encompassing ba? You have projects on solid waste management, you have projects on water conservation, and even energy conservation. And sobrang malaking saludo for your sustainability efforts. And kahit yung planting of mangroves, may trivia ko, mangroves sequester 10 times more carbon than our terrestrial trees and terrestrial forests. So really good move yon, and especially personal favorite ko yung sustainable farming na inopen ninyo sa community, because like in this trying times, sobrang kailangan natin to be more community driven, because napakahirap, maraming tao na naghihirap ngayon. So maraming salamat, Ms. Athena. I'll call you in back later. But to move forward from Negros Occidental, let's hop on down to North Luzon as we listen to Earth Warriors from Divisoria High School of Santiago City, Isabela, sharing their stories from the North. Our speaker is the school lead for the School YesO organization. With another supportive principal, Mr. Randy Mina, a virtual round of applause for Miss Elizabeth T. Bayawa. Ayun, maraming umaga po, Miss Elizabeth and Sir Randy. Alright, nandito na po ba si Miss Elizabeth? Ayun, nakita ko si Sir Randy. Magandang umaga, Sir Randy. Okay, sige. So habang hinihintay natin si Miss Elizabeth, I would like to hear your thoughts. Kumusta yung ano yung pinaka-favorite part ninyo sa presentation ni Ma'am Athena? Ako, marami na akong na-share kanina. Kayo po, ano yung mga nagustuhan ninyo? So, nagbabasa ako kanina. May mga comments po tayo na wow, ang ganda ng school at talagang refreshing, malaking tulong sa kalikasan. Very inspiring. Thank you po, Ma'am Athena. Salamat, Ma'am Athena. You inspired us. God bless. Ayun. Okay, nag-ask na po ako to unmute, Sir Randy.
Okay. Hello, sir. Good morning.
Good morning, Sir Randy. Sir, may echo ata kayo, sir?
Beside me is Ma'am Bayawa, so I let her go out of my office. Okay. To our intellectual icons of the DNR EMB, from the Central Office to the Regional Office and the NROS. To our DepEd school communities, to all of us, good morning. Onboarding is me, Mr. Randy Mina, the Principal 2 of the Visoria High School. Humbly present to you the journey of the Visoria High School. The Visoria High School as a national winner, first place for high school level in the 2017 National Search for Sustainable and Eco-Friendly Schools, was made possible and considered as her legacy through then the transformational leadership, Dr. Eloisa Liantada Dizon, the Principal 3, and even reached the Asean Eco Schools Award in 2019 held at Siem Reap, Cambodia, that is for the secondary school category. All these things fully supported by the local government unit of City of Santiago through the generosity and strong partnership to its City Mayor, Honorable Joseph Estan. Now, the YesO coordinator at that time, Ma'am Elizabeth Tabuno Bayawa, shall now share the journey of the Visoria High School from the planning, implementing, and finally winning through the audio-visual presentation. So with that, may we share now our presentation. Then after which, a continuation of my talk. Thank you, sir.
Having our school's initiatives on environmental concerns recognized in the international level has always been our pride and inspiration to continue promoting the preservation and conservation of our environment, and today's platform is a way for us to share this passion outside our school community. Our Kalinga Ko'y Kalikasan, an institutional program that advocates the protection, preservation, and nurturing of the environment, is the theme of all initiatives of the Visoria High School, Santiago City, Region 2, Philippines. Its structure encompasses policies that feature the 4 elements of the earth. These are water policies and initiative, energy policies and initiative, earth policies and initiative, and air policies and initiative. Earth policies and initiatives are focused on waste management and the conservation and preservation of resources. Here are the programs and activities conducted by the school under this structure. Thinking about the full participation of the students in zeroing waste in the school, DHS has implemented the search for best implementer of proper waste segregation. This initiative highlights the best section per grade level that perfected the art of segregating waste into nabebenta, nabubulok, at di nabubulok. Monthly awarding has been done to continue boost the pride of zero waste management implementers. From the segregated waste, the school extended its program into recycling activities that promote the 3 R's: reuse, reduce, and recycle. These recycled products have been displayed in the YesO showroom and during exhibits for the school community and benchmarking participants to view. Those trashes in nabebenta or saleable bins were collected by the school from its classes and sold to a partner junk shop. Classes then receive items like cleaning materials in exchange of the sold trash. Another activity that has been conducted by the school to promote the maximum use of recyclable and reusable materials is the Trashon Show. The word Trashon is a combination of the word trash and fashion. This is a regular part of the science fair during Science Month celebration every September. Considering the waste that were collected in the nabubulok biodegradable bins, the school maintains a compost heap where stem, stalk, or dry leaf, fruits and vegetable peels were dumped to undergo natural decomposition that later produce organic fertilizer. The fertilizer is used for the nourishment of school gardens. While maintaining the cleanliness of the classrooms, the school also sees to it that the school ground is kept clean. This has been done through Pulot Kalat activity. This is a first-class schedule of going around the campus to pick up litter in the school ground. Another big material consumption in school is on papers, and the school, of course, find a ways to not just let these materials go to waste. One of these is paper banking. Each classroom maintains creative boxes or containers where used papers were collected for future recycling activities. The crumpled or cut papers in the paper bin were no longer saleable, so the school has had its paper charcoal making. The papers collected were soaked in water, formed into balls, and dried under the sun. The product serves its purpose just like the regular charcoal but with better environmental impact. While those papers that can be made into another useful materials were woven and turned into mats, baskets, and bags. These are exhibited in the YesO showroom. The next structure is the energy policies and initiatives. This is on promoting practices and initiatives in electrical safety, energy efficiency, and conservation. First, under this is the Energy Conservation Campaign. This is about the information dissemination on proper energy consumption. Posts about this campaign are visible in the strategic areas in the school. One of the campaigns is the switching off of electric facilities during non-active hours. This is in between 12 noon to 1 o'clock in the afternoon. During this hour, the school community is encouraged to use the earth-friendly loops around the campus, targeting both energy conservation and appreciation of natural surroundings. DHS also made it a regular habit to request the authorities, particularly the Bureau of Fire, to inspect the electrical wirings and layout of all school buildings. This prevents fire-related incidents and wasted energy. After assessments, the school makes sure that the recommendation of the BFP will be carried. Stakeholders have been tapped to do the repairs and maintenance, thereby maximizing the life of appliances and ensuring safety of school buildings. With this, incandescent lights were totally replaced by LED light bulbs. All of those ensured a safe and minimal use of energy. The third environmental structure of KKK is the water policies and initiatives. When rain pours, DHS has rainwater harvesters that collect and store water, which is later used for watering plants, flushing, toilets, and washing untidy areas. Also, the stored water is considered already fire suppressant in the case of emergencies. Water harvesters are covered when not in use to avoid mosquito breeding. Aside from rainwater harvesters, DHS likewise initiated the use of recycled water banks, which are used water bottles filled with water and piled beside gardens. These are utilized to water gardens during dry season where rain is scarce. Like the initiatives on energy, water conservation campaign is also present in the school. Posts and signages encourage the school community to conserve water. Water facilities are also assessed and maintained regularly. This prevents leaking faucets and water pipes. Another way to provide water source is through treatment. The school has facilities that collect rainwater and process it through different filtration stages. The end product can be used for household purposes, except for drinking and cooking. DHS love for the environment is not confined in the four corners of the school. It branches services to the community by adopting a creek. With the YESO officers on the lead, the adopted creek has been regularly visited, cleaned, and planted with trees to promote pollution-free environment and prevent soil erosion. Aside from the tree structures, air policies and initiative also form its part under KKK. The school has its anti-smoking campaigns. Posts and signages are placed in strategic places to encourage a smoke-free community. This campaign, along with other air policies and initiatives, has also been communicated during seminars and symposium for students and parents alike. DHS also limits the number of vehicles that enters its vicinity, which likewise limits air pollution, particularly inside the school. And to provide better oxygen source and cleaner air, DHS has gone intense with its greening program. One of which is the search for Best Garden Steward. This is about awarding the best class maintained vegetable gardens in every grade level per month. This made sure the participation of every class in vegetable gardening. Another greening activity is the urban gardening. This combines the structure of reusing waste materials and gardening. Urban gardening helped the school produce harvest for its school-based feeding program, which made an impact in the improvement of nutritional status of feeding program beneficiaries. Aside from vegetable gardening, tree planting has also been observed. This is to ensure that the school and its community will have a good oxygen source and natural air purifier. To sustain these planting activities, the school maintains a plant nursery. This provides the school gardens with available seedlings for the greening program. The nursery also has been able to donate seedlings to student households as its extension activity. Moreover, this DHS is one of the urban schools that has been able to maintain an eco-forest park. Its eco-park housed bitaog, a kind of rubber tree and mahogany along with some fruit trees. This park has been a friendly nook for students. With those activities under the greening program, DHS has been proud of its Garden Everywhere motto. It makes sure that no area is left idle and all of the spaces are put into good use. To make all this possible, the school never ceases to inform its community of all its environmental policies and initiatives. All of those activities, projects, and programs were contributory in making the school the 2017 most sustainable and eco-friendly school in the Philippines. The 2019 Asean Eco School Awardee, which took place in Siem Reap, Cambodia, and one of the featured schools in the global search for sustainable schools. Kalinga Ko'y Kalikasan program, with all its awards, has started and happened during the management of the Principal 3, Eloisa L. Dizon, and continued by its present Principal 2, Randy B. Mina. Let us remember that every small action counts. Let's protect the environment together.
Ayun, maraming yes, sir, Randy.
Yeah, since the time that I was transferred to Divisoria High School, sir, we were able to sustain the programs, activities, and projects in relation to sustainable and eco-friendly school. We forged a strong partnership with the internal and external stakeholders of the school, and all shall be for the benefits of the Santiago learners. That would be all, sir. Thank you very much.
And maraming salamat, Sir Randy. Maraming salamat for sharing with us your I call it multi-elemental approach. Kasi you covered earth, you covered air, you covered water, kulang na lang fire. Pero meron din kayong preventive measures for fire. So medyo na-cover din natin kaya multi-elemental din tayo. So maraming salamat, Sir Randy and Ma'am Elizabeth. So moving forward to cap off our grassroots conversation, we're flying down back to the Visayas Islands as we meet Vice President for Research, Extension, and Innovation of the Visayas State University of Visca, Baybay City, Leyte. The light is yours, Miss Maria Juliet C. Seniza. Magandang umaga po, Miss Juliet.
Good morning. Am I heard? Okay,
Yes.
Good morning, everyone. A pleasant morning to all from Leyte. Maupay na aga, we call it from the Waray. So it's really a pleasant day for us today. Very shiny. And I would like to greet everyone who are with us today, especially the key officials of the Department of Environment and Natural Resources, the Environmental Management Bureau, starting with our Director, Engineer William Cuniado, and our DNR Undersecretary for Field Operations and Environment, Attorney Juan Miguel Cunha, of course, representatives from the Department of Education, and our guests, our partners, private partners who are with us today. A very pleasant morning all the way from Leyte. So this morning, we're indeed very happy to share with you. So we are glad that we are part of this endeavor of the EMB, DNR, because actually we also had our share of success for this kind of initiative. So this morning, may I share with you my screen? And I will just briefly tell you the story of our journey towards our successful participation in the National Search for Sustainable and Eco-Friendly School the National Search for Sustainable and Eco-Friendly School, which we actually participated. So may I now share my screen?
Yes po, go ahead.
Okay, is it now presented?
Yes po.
Just one moment.
View na lang po.
It's now there? It's okay? Yeah,
Yes,
okay. So, sorry. Probably before I will go to our experiences during this search, may I just present to you our university? So, we are the Visayas State University of the Baybay Leyte in Region 8, and I am sharing to you our journey to success for this National Search for Sustainable Eco-Friendly School, which we actually enjoyed since we were awarded so this was in 2009 when we were, 2013 was our national, we were the national winner for the college level for the National Search for Sustainable Eco-Friendly School. But back then in 2008, we actually had an award. We were once one of those schools awarded being the dark green school in 2008 by the Environmental Education Network of the Philippines. And then we vied for the National Search for Sustainable Eco-Friendly School during in the year 2009, where we were the regional finalist. And finally, in 2013, we landed the national winner for the college level, including a special award from the Meralco Energy Leadership Award, during which period there were actually 2 additional awards given by our partners. So let me just tell you our university. Our university, VSU, we also fondly call the very scenic university, because I would be proud to say that we are the only, maybe the campus, university campus, which is sandwiched by the mountain, the very iconic Mount Pangasugan, which is our backdrop. And then we have our tranquil Camote Sea. So if you want to see the sunset in the afternoon there, you can go to the beach. And if you want to wander around the forest, then you have our Mount Pangasugan, which serves as our backdrop. So this is how our university is being described. It's our very scenic university, okay? So we have VSU, by the way, is composed of 4 external campuses, and VSU in Baybay Leyte is the main campus. We have the VSU Tolosa, this is going west. And then we have the VSU Alang-Alang, and the VSU Isabel, and VSU Biliaba. Now, by the way, each of these campuses will have their own focus fields. Like in Tolosa, this is more of the College of Fisheries and Criminology. The Alang-Alang is for College of Environmental Education. Then Isabel is for Engineering and Technology, and Biliaba is for more on education. So we are located in Region 8, that's concentrated in Leyte, and we are, of course, our neighbor would be the Samar Island. So more about us. We are a global university in agriculture, and we are mainly offering courses in agriculture, and we have the allied fields in the main campus. And then I mentioned already about the fields of focus in external campuses. We are in a sprawling 1,000 or 1,100 hectares that extend from the shore of Camote Sea to the top of Mount Pangasugan. So this is the overview, the aerial view of it. And of course, sprawling or scattered in that the big area are buildings. These are of course, the lecture buildings, our academic buildings, our administration buildings, library, our other centers, the research centers, guest houses. We have our own hostel and pavilion, and we have our own VSU hospital. So this is how it looks in the aerial view. So what we offer, actually, we have 29 undergraduate courses, and we have 46 degree for the graduate programs. All of these are accredited with different levels. So we have, in fact, now we have, at the moment, we are being accredited for level 2 for our graduate courses for this level 1. So we are now vying for accreditation for level 2. And we are our institutional accreditation status is level 3. And of course, we have undergraduate programs under level 3, level 2, and level 1 accreditation. Now, VSU is a home to national and regional centers. So we have actually our root crop research center, we have our abaca research center, we have our coconut research center, we have the Carabao Center, which is lodged in VSU, we have our Farm Resource Management Institute, we have the Renewable Energy Research Center, which actually is on non-conventional, on alternative energy. We have our ARIC. This is a newly established Advanced Research Innovation Center or Technology Hub. And we have a regional climate change center and VSU, aside from the different departments, which are also conducting our RDEI or supporting our IDE. So just some recognition of our school. We are the Center for Excellence in Agriculture, Forestry, as these awards from CHED. And of course, by our modest achievements, we were also able to achieve these ranks like stars and the ranking of the universities throughout the Philippines. So, let's see. Okay, our vision, I just want to present this because all our activities related to environmental initiatives, sustainability, and eco-friendly initiatives are lodged in our vision and our mission. So the university vision is a globally competitive university for science, technology, and environmental conservation. So embedded already in our programs, in our activities, are environmental conservation initiatives. Our mission, let me just get this one. Our mission is development of a highly competitive human resource, cutting-edge scientific knowledge, and innovative technologies for sustainable communities and environment. So again, it's really verbalized in our mission. And this icon here is our, this is our icon for VSU, the search for truth. We're in all our mission or our endeavors, we really have to know, to explore some more for the betterment of our beneficiaries with all later I will the core values, so relevance, integrity, truth, and excellence guiding us in all our endeavors. So just one moment. Okay, I'm so sorry. Just want to go to my previous, sorry. Okay, so our goals are these. Now we have 7 goals: world-class education, globally competitive S&T, empowered communities, sustainable resource generation, client-centered governance, versatile spaces for innovation, and strong alumni engagements. In all of these, we actually integrate all these environmental initiatives and activities. Okay, so VSU, as a university of S&T, has implemented environmental initiatives integrated in our function. So as a university, we have function in instruction. That's our major function. We have the research function, extension, and production. So as I have said, in all of these, we are actually integrating our concerns for environmental initiatives and activities. So for example, in goal number 1 is sustained excellence in instruction. Produce highly competent world-class manpower of S&T, especially in agriculture and environmental management. So I'll show you what are some of these curricular programs that we have, including our innovative RDE system and competitive S&T, wherein we're generating and disseminating relevant technologies and knowledge that lead to improved productivity and sustainability in agriculture and environment and industry. So it's always our, it's the prime focus. So as I have said, this has been integrated in our curricular program. So just to mention a few, we have courses offered in BS Environmental Management. We have MS in Tropical Ecology. We are the only university offering Master of Science in Tropical Ecology. And in fact, some of our clients are from the DNR, our neighboring DNR offices. We have our BS and MS in Forestry, also from DNR offices that are who are actually enrolled in our MS program in Forestry, BS Biology, and other allied courses relating to environmental disciplines or topics. And of course, we have our RDE units. I will mention later what are some of these. Okay, so in terms of instruction, so we also integrated not just in the different subject itself, but of course we also integrated the themes of environment in different curricular program, like projects on really going into case studies, wherein they would produce all of these, like our Cuatro Islas, Pongdaco, and all these relating to environmental programs and projects. So that's included in our curriculum. And of course, it's not only inside the classroom. Our students also organize themselves to have a vibrant environmental organization in the campus with environmental concerns, like our terrestrial aquatic restoration by students immersed in environmental reforms. In fact, they were an awardee. They had an awardee. They went to the Malacanang Palace to get their award relating to these environmental initiatives. This is just one of them. Okay, in terms of the RDA, I just would like to mention, although I've already mentioned that we have our main research centers for root crops, Abaca, Coconut, Farm Resource Management, and all the colleges which have also their own RDE agenda. And we have our support offices or no units like ARIC, RCRC, and so on. So these are our support offices for or support units for RDEI. Now, in our sustainability of the school's policies relating to environment and all the sustainability aspects, there is effective communication of the university's policy in all its constituents. This is one way by which we can actually disseminate our information and policies, and this is approved by the highest decision-making body, which is the Board of Regents. And of course, it goes through the UADCO. We have our university codes and manual. These are approved student handbooks. These also guide us in the implementation of all these environment-related policies. We also have units and committees in the university that help us implement environmental programs. We have our solid waste management section. We have the water sewerage system management, and these are just related to environmental initiatives. And of course, we do have environmental education campaigns, not only for the staff, but also for our students. So these are just some examples of this, which we did before, like creating environmental awareness of a local population on nature preservation and conservation done by our staff and our students. We do environmental camps for our children. Before the pandemic, of course. And we, every September, we declared that as our environment month. So we usually held some activities related to environmental initiatives. Of course, we have programs or policies on electricity conservation, like turning on and off of our air conditioning and other, maybe replacing all these busted lamps and all these electricity conservation initiatives. Of course, paper conservation, wherein we tried to have an initiative on paperless, but at least it helped. We reduce some of those used by recycling our paper, using them again, especially in offices. And of course, water conservation program. Although it is, I'm glad to say that our water is not really a problem in Leyte, in VSU, for example, because we really have a good water supply with all these trees around in our Mount Pangasugad, with our watershed being actually conserved and preserved. Okay, so we have our other environmental programs that we have in our environmental initiatives in the university. We have our vermicomposting area or project, where this is manned by one of the units of the university, and we entertain clients who want to be trained in vermicomposting. They want to learn. There are actually walk-in clients, or even do extension by training some of our interested clients in the region. Before the pandemic, we used to get a lot of clients who would like to be trained in vermicomposting. So this is also one of our programs. And of course, we have our pollution prevention program, like signages inside the campus. We used to have a big signage upon entering VSU, but unfortunately, after the several typhoons that actually struck Eastern Visayas, all of these were gone. So it actually says that you are entering a smoke-free university, so no smoking. So this is a no smoking zone, okay, with all the signages posted in strategic locations. So we also have greening programs. So although I would say that we are very fortunate that we are indeed blessed with a good environment already, very green, with all the trees around, with the scenic Camote Sea, but we still do some more greening program, like our mini gardens, our hydroponics, our herbal, pesticidal, and mini gardens. So we still have that here. Of course, we have our parks. So as our ecotourism, we develop our ecotourism program here in VSU. We do have our tertiary sanctuary. So we used to keep them, of course, we are near the forest. So we have established a tertiary sanctuary where we can observe them in the afternoon or in early evening. We also have our butterfly sanctuary for environmental conservation or diversity conservation, and of course, environmental preservation. So this is part of our environment-friendly programs. So this is just to show you some of our sceneries here in VSU. We are actually enveloped by this lush trees, the forest of Mount Pangasugan. So along the beach, we have our beach resort. This is our garden beach resort. And of course, we also beautify them. We also install or establish gardens around the beach resort. Okay, now our flagship, we did a lot of RDEI or Research Development and Extension Program, is our program on rainforestation. In fact, sometime in 2004, we actually were, there was actually a memorandum from DNR 2004-06. This integrates a rainforestation program which VSU actually conceptualized during that. It started in 1990, and up to now it has been applied, and in fact it has been already like applied in other parts of the country. Our researchers, researchers and people involved in this rainforestation farming are now actually expanding some more of this program. I'll show you some of this later in my slides. So we are very happy that DNR recognized this rainforestation farming strategy in the development of open and denuded areas with protected areas and other appropriate forest land. So this was the circular issued by DNR related to rainforestation farming. So by the way, we have a Ridge to Reef program. So that includes in the coastal resource management project. So our researchers also not only around VSU, but we work with our local clients in the islands. For example, we have our neighboring Cuatros Islas, which is used now to be an ecotourism site. Prior, we actually have all these, we help the LGU like in inventory, in looking at the resources that are there, in making up a marine sanctuary and other programs that we launch together with them in order to really have a good coastal resource management program in the different islands. So these are the 4 islands in nearby VSU. So with all our endeavor in research extension, we link with our local agencies, of course, DNR, and other agencies, LGUs foremost, of course, and even private agencies who help us also in implementing some of our environment-related initiatives in the different places in the region and also in Leyte. Okay, now part of that, actually in that search, we had this initiative on sociocultural sustainability. So gender mainstreaming in VSU, of course, this is already mainstream in VSU. In fact, we have an office already established for this, which actually focused on really mainstreaming these programs on gender, gender and development, and even really encouraging like our appropriation of budget for GAD activities in our university. So with all of this, of course, it's not only the Dark Green School Award and the Eco-Friendly Award. We also got several awards related to our initiatives, especially in the environmental related activities like Best Research Program, also recognized by Euronatur in all our protection and environment and related activities or initiatives. So just to mention a few. Okay, during that search, we were actually included in the Water Leadership Award, special category, because we have our From Ridge to Reef program. By the way, in our Camote Sea, just nearby VSU, we have our marine sanctuary, and in the nearby barangays or nearby municipalities, they also have their own sanctuary, and we, as much as possible, also participated in their in promoting all these activities on establishment of marine sanctuaries. So because we have so much, of course, water supply, at VSU, we have our own supply of spring water. So we actually have this as our also for drinking. Also, we buy from this spring water facility in VSU. So in all of these, our initiatives that we actually that was part of our eco-friendly initiative and sustainable initiatives. We were awarded the eco-friendly school in the Philippines right after when Super Typhoon Yolanda actually struck the Eastern Visayas. So it was a nostalgic awarding because we were the only one who went there. The president, by the way, all of these initiatives were actually due to the dynamic support of our three presidents, from Dr. Milan, Dr. Bacusmo, and now Dr. Tulin. So in all of these years of their administration, we have been implementing all this, sustaining all of this. So the award actually came right after Yolanda struck the Eastern Visayas at 2013. So we were there. So it was only two of us who were able to go there because there was still difficulty in traveling to Manila during that time. But we were very happy. We're indeed thankful to DNR and EMB for recognizing all our efforts to really demonstrate an eco-friendly and environment-friendly initiatives and school. So the journey continues. So even if you were awarded, our journey continues for VSU, environmental initiatives in instruction and RDEI, our research, development, extension, and innovation programs still incorporate environmental initiatives. So I just would like to flash some of these activities. So in instruction, so and students and even for faculty, we have our students joining youth network or activities related to sustainable development. In fact, we have one faculty who just had a linkage with the East-West, and she had this program, School on the Air program for students in the elementary. We partnered with Deep Ed. We have our clients, the students, they on visual arts, mental health, and environment, especially during this time of COVID. So she was very initiative, very resourceful, that she was able to connect with East-West agency in order to fund a program for this cause. And of course, so I just mentioned the environmental initiative continues our really care for the environment with all of this program, joining seminars, joining trainings, cleanups by our students and our faculty, our really dynamic students joining environmental forum in Thailand, and even our radio. We are using our radio in order to utilize all of this promotion of preaching environment eco-friendly initiatives and activities. So yeah, that just to show some of these continued efforts on environmental awareness campaign by our students and symposium on biodiversity. We used to host, by the way, several before the pandemic. We used to host all these national symposia, conferences, national and international. So we used to hold that here, of course, attended by our faculty and students, and we partnered with our international partners and collaborators in order to come up with all these initiatives. So for RDEI, so just to continue and mention some of these sustained REI initiatives, we have our Center for Renewable Energy Research Center. So they have this sustained projects, which I just would like to show, like the solar tunnel dryer and all the solar lighting system. So all of these are connected to projects which are also not only here in VSU, but in our project barangays, project municipalities, applying all of these outputs in the research. Okay, including this, all our technologies, environment-related activities, or especially environment-friendly technologies, we actually promote that to our clients. Like this one, we work with a physically challenged farmers in Hindang Leyte, wherein we incorporate all of these environmental strategies, like all this rainforestation farming, incorporating bees there for pollination, for organic farming, and even composting. So this is also one of our activities in one of the centers in VSU. Okay, so we have our training facilities in extension, like the climate smart agroforestry, wherein we demonstrate how our farmers can actually promote all these. So that's part of that. Okay, so environmental governance, I guess, continues. So we are indeed very, very fortunate that our administrators really have a heart. They're in a heart for environment. In fact, when there was this widening project, we still keep some of the trees, and there was a strategy done so that our trees, which have been planted long before, decades already, have to be kept. So there was like a compromise. So there was a negotiation, and finally the PWH actually agrees. So we did not cut the trees, but there were some diversions in the road, so that still development and environment preservation and conservation gets together. Okay, so this is really very win-win for all of us. So of course we partnered. So our collaboration still continues with our partners abroad, and also like the Yale University for Reforestation, Dutch for our water education. So we have this project. I guess this is now being ongoing project, and especially this Asean DNR project on restoring the watershed, this nuded forest. So with the College of Forests, this is a big project wherein we have our beneficiaries outside of the SU, of course in Leyte and Samar. These are our beneficiaries for the Asean and DNR Forest Restoration Project. Now, in times of pandemic, so VSU had our activities like delivering fresh vegetables. So we know that there were restrictions, there were quarantine. So what we did was apply the technology that we have in VSU. We plant a lot of intensify our vegetable production using the technologies available in VSU, and have the Oplantanum program that actually were given free to not only to our faculty, but also to our partners outside VSU, even in nearby municipalities. So our partners, we give them the harvest from these initiatives. We also give them planting materials, not just only the vegetables for cooking, but we also give them seedlings so that themselves can plant. They can plant themselves so that they can also harvest. Okay, and all of this, despite all the difficulties, and of course, these initiatives also won us award, the highest public service award, especially this Forestal, those initiative on forest, and of course the coconut technology generators, and of course recently our COVID-19 response team wins regional CSE Pag-asa award with all the initiatives on COVID responses of VSU. So we abide by because we are a university with our quality procedure and of course initiatives. We are maintaining our VSU certification. We are an ISO certified university by Tube Run Line. So I guess these are all. Thank you very much for giving us the opportunity to share with you our success stories. And I would like to very much, if this is not a face-to-face, you could actually visit, or if visit us in the Visayas State University in Baybay City, Philippines. Thank you very much.
Ayun, maraming salamat, Miss Juliet. So, VSU is really a model for integrating education and research. Now we see how VSU puts importance sa kanilang environmental policies in the university. Kaya may model din sila for environmental governance. And in this time, especially with the climate crisis and how there is a need to integrate our passion, our advocacy for the environment in our policies to make it more concretely sustainable. And we see that in VSU. Meron kayong beach, ibang level po, ibang level yung
Yes.
beach. And I would also like to highlight how important it is to partner with people, to work together with other people. And we see how were able to put value in that by working with SDS and youth, and even in the East-West Center in Hawaii. So that's a really good stakeholder and partner. But yung favorite ko talagang nalaman today from your presentation, meron palang tarsier sa Leyte. Hindi lang pala.
Yes. We have. You have, sir.
Yes. All right. Sige, maraming salamat po, Miss Juliet. I will call you in back a few moments from now. But at this point, I would like to acknowledge the presence of the Director of DNR Climate Change Service, Director Elenida Basog. Magandang umaga po, Director Elenida. Thank you for joining us this morning. Now, 3 wonderful stories. Totoo namang nakakamangha ang dedikasyon ng ating mga paaralan at mga universidad sa kanilang mga hangarin para sa ating kalikasan. So sa puntong ito, we open the floor to questions, and we would like to usher back in Miss Athena, Miss Elizabeth, and Miss Juliet to answer your questions. No? So our panelists, our guests this afternoon, women empowerment, lahat babae. Miss Juliet, join us. Miss Juliet, Miss Elizabeth, and Miss Athena. Ayun.
Okay.
Ayan. So we already have our panelists with us, our guest speakers, resource speakers this morning. Do we have any questions? So meron pong mga questions. So we already have one kanina actually, no mga nagpe-present kayo. Okay, the question is, in our experience when we went around schools, sabi pala to ni EMB NCR, Ani Flor Uliero, in our experience when we went around schools during the promotion of the search for sustainable and eco-friendly school, we observed that the criteria we are looking for are already embedded in the school's good practices, but these are not documented by some schools. One of the reasons is the lack of resources or funds of the school. We understand the dilemma of our teachers in charge of the program on this matter. So what can the DepEd do to help address this issue? Sir Juliven or anyone from DepEd or the winners may also share po the experience of their schools, how they overcome whatever obstacles they encountered. So maybe Miss Athena or Miss Elizabeth or Miss Juliet can share na how you can maximize the program even with a limited resource limited resource for the project. Yun. Do we have anyone from our guest speakers? Paano natin maximize yung budget na hindi naman kailangan? I'm sure hindi milyones yung budget natin sa ating mga education, environmental education programs or other programs. So how were you able to execute your programs with a limited source of budget?
Yeah. May I just say hello?
Yes,
yeah,
sure.
I guess it was a very well presented earlier with our elementary and high school winners that they partnered with LGU. So I guess one of the avenues by which we can actually also have resources for our projects can also be like have counterparts from LGUs, from our partners, because I know there are agencies, there are organizations who would really like to do environmental advocacies, and that could be part of their advocacy, so that we can partner with them. So that is also what we did. Even in the university, we partnered with local government. We present our program, and then they would have a certain counterpart. So we just have a counterparting what we can do, and then what they can also do to implement the project. So I guess that is a very good win-win initiative.
Ayun. So,
Thank you.
kung limited yung resources, pwede namang mag-partner sa mga taong
Yes.
merong resources para mas collaborative yung approach natin. Any input from Miss Athena or Miss Elizabeth?
Yes po.
Go ahead.
Permission to speak po.
Sure.
So in our this is one of our challenges in our elementary, in our public school here. So in financial matters, it is very difficult for us, especially all our programs need financial support. So what we did is, it is correct lang Ma'am Juliet said, our support from our LGUs. Our support from LGU is a very great help for us. And another also is that when the parents and the community saw what we're doing to our school, sila na po yung mismo nagkusa na tumulong po sa amin. So this is a shared responsibility. Our school is not just for us, just for pupils. It is for everybody. This is a shared responsibility to build our nation, to build our, to promote eco-friendly, to sustain our pupils. So this is not just a work of our teachers, just our school head or just the DepEd, but this is also the work of everybody. So just like what is said, it needs a village to educate the child. So this is po, dito po yung napatunayan na yung pagtulong-tulong po ng lahat ng community, it really build the child. It really educate the child po.
Yeah. Thank you, Ms. Athena. So dito natin makikita no na public-private partnerships are not only in bridges, are not only in airports. Dapat it should happen between schools and like LGUs, for example, para naman makita ng community, like sa example ni Ma'am Athena, na when two big institutions work together, parang napapasa sa kanila yung responsibility na, okay, sila nagsisikap, so tutulong din ako. Diba? It sparks some inspiration to our community. Maraming salamat to Miss Juliet and Miss Athena. Miss Elizabeth, may gusto po kayong idagdag? All right. Si Sir Randy. Yes, Sir
Yeah,
Randy.
in behalf of Ma'am Elizabeth, yeah, the school has been practicing even before my designation here at the Visoria High School na part of the programs, projects, and activities has been adopted by stakeholders, specifically the external. Say, for example, the forest we have, the forest park, is being adopted by one college in our city of Santiago. They were the one giving funding for the improvement, for the sustainability of that forest park. And another one is for the water, still we practice the, how do you call this, the adapting the PUPs in a different elements of sustainability. Say for the air, we had a MOA or MOU with the Drivers Association in our barangay, no? Na kung saan binabantayan ang tambutso ng bawat motorsiklo. Parang ganun, sir. A matter of adapting one PUPs in each stakeholders. Yun po yung practice namin sa ngayon, sir. Best practice.
Thank you, Sir Randy. Last input from Miss Juliet.
Yeah, I just want to add to what Sir Randy actually said, that some of the environmental projects and initiative does not need to cost a lot. Like we partner with them, recycling, for example, garbage management. So it doesn't cost a lot. So it's just really willingness to help. No, so we can invite like the organization, the drivers. We do that also, sir. In fact, we also have our partners, farmers organization. We just have to promote our project. We just have to let them understand what is our objective, and that's for everyone. No, so I guess that's really very good comment from Sir Randy. Thank you.
Ayun, maraming salamat po. But just before we let you go, I would like to acknowledge on behalf of the NREMB, I would like to acknowledge your efforts and your inputs today by our token of appreciation through our e-certificate. So allow me to read the same citation rather is given to Miss Athena Lourdes Esmaquilan for joining us today. Our next certificate is given to Ma'am Elizabeth T. Bayawa. And lastly, we would like to award a certificate of appreciation to Miss Maria Juliet C. Ceniza, but I'll also allow me to thank personally and on behalf of the NREMB, Sir Randy Mina for being so supportive, for being here, and for joining us on behalf of Ma'am Bayawa. Maraming salamat po sa ating sharers and sa ating presenters this morning. Truly, marami sa ating mga communities who participated in the program are very essential to our move towards a better and a more sustainable future. So kayo ang rason kung bakit nandito ang mga programang ito in the first place. Yung mga bata na nasa loob ng inyong mga paaralan, wala muna ngayon kasi COVID pa, pero kanilang kinabukasan ang ating binabantayan at iniingatan. So just as important as our communities are our private sector leaders who will help us move forward with their environmentally sound business policies and operations. The private companies that are joining us have their own missions to help better mitigate the causes and effects of climate change. And today, we are very happy to hear one of those stories. We are joined by Miss Christine Ponce Garcia, a key driver of the strategic execution of Nestle's net zero commitment. She is also the task force lead of the Sustainability Steering Committee of Nestle Philippines and one of the prime movers of Plastic Neutrality Program, a best-in-class program that enabled Nestle Philippines to achieve 1 full year of plastic neutrality. She is also the project manager of May Balik sa Plastic. There is value in plastic, the country's first citywide plastic waste collection program that placed a monetary value to soft plastics. She spearheaded the rollout of eco-brick hubs in several communities and led Nestle's 2020 Greening the Supply Chain Program and the 2019 Nestle Water Leadership Awards, one of the award categories of the National Search for Sustainable and Eco-Friendly Schools. She was also one of the judges in 2019. Friends, please help me welcome Assistant Vice President in Sustainability and Public Affairs Officer for Nestle Philippines Incorporated, Ms. Christine Ponce Garcia. Good morning, Ma'am Christine.
Morning, Rin. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, we can hear you clearly.
Oh, maraming salamat po. I'm so excited to see familiar faces here, both from our friends from the school participants in 2019. Hello po, at mga kaibigan po natin sa EMB who we joined. We went around the country 2 years ago, looking and learning from the programs of the schools who presented earlier. So I am again truly inspired this morning. So allow me to share my screen. So let me know if you can see it. Hold on.
Go ahead po.
There you go.
Ayun.
Yep. Okay, can you see it? And can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
All right, that's great. Okay, so muli po magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat, and I hope everyone is keeping safe, especially during this time. So I'd like to thank our friends from DENREMB for this opportunity to share about what we do in Nestle, and this morning specifically what we do for the environment and our involvement to the national search for sustainable and eco-friendly schools. So like I mentioned earlier, we have been partners with DENR and EMB for almost 8 years now. That is why I'm so excited to share with you how we are partnering for the planet. So again, I've listened to the whole session this morning, and I really am getting inspiration from all the speakers, especially our school partners for the Nestle Water Leadership Awards. So maybe quickly, let me talk about what we do first in Nestle. So we have been in the Philippines for 110 years. So this year we're celebrating 110 this year, and we have 4 manufacturing sites in 3 in Luzon and 1 in Mindanao. We also have 6 distribution centers here in the country, and 1 shared service center in Bulacan, or ang tinatawag po namin parang mga BPO po namin, which services almost half of the Nestle world. So kami po, we directly employ over 50,000 households and serve over 25 billion of fortified products to the Filipino consumer as we speak. So yan po ang aming mga brands. So I hope our brands are also familiar or in your pantries. So sana ay natikman na rin po ninyo ang ilan sa kanila. Ako, my favorite here is of course Milo, and try to mix it with Nido. That's a personal favorite of mine. And also, sorry for that. Also, if you can see Chucky, so yan po ay isang paborito ko rin. Siya po ang unang-unang product po natin na already is made in paper straw. Hold on. All right. So kami po sa our purpose is as a company is to unlock the power of food and beverages to enhance the quality of life for people, for everyone today and for generations to come. So since our foundation, Nestle has strived to create value for both our shareholders and for our society. So guided by our values rooted in respect, we work alongside partners to create shared values. Ayan po. So kami po, tinatawag po namin creating shared value. As you can see, has always been the core of who we are at Nestle. So we focus on our energy and resources where we can make the greatest positive impact on the people and the planet. So makikita nyo po, we have we create shared value in 3 key areas. On the left is the for individuals and families. So we have our Nestle Wellness Campus, where we empower 11.1 million children to live healthier lives. And also together po with DepEd, we also develop modules on nutrition, physical education, and solid waste management. So for communities naman po is we help our coffee farmers improve their livelihood through the Nescafe plan. So and for the planet, we strive to ensure zero impact to the environment. So we say po that we build on a decade of hard work to ensure that we have zero environmental impact. So protecting the future of our planet has always been our part of our DNA. So despite increases in our production, we strive to reduce our impact to the planet. So yung makita po ninyo, these environmental milestones help us reduce our carbon emissions, water and energy usage over the years. So makikita po ninyo ang aking special box dyan. In 2013 is the launch of the Nestle Water Leadership Awards in partnership with the DNR EMB. So but we always say at Nestle, we cannot do this alone. We need a multi-stakeholder approach in tackling the climate change challenge. So I've heard most of our speakers also speak about a whole of society and whole of government approach on how we tackle the climate change challenge. So I agree with that. That's why in 2013, we teamed up with the ENR EMB for the Nestle Water Leadership Awards, or what we call the NWLA. So what is the Nestle Water Leadership Award? So it is one of the 3 special categories of the DNR's National Search for Sustainable and Eco-Friendly Schools. So this biennial award encourages schools with exemplary initiatives on water conservation, efficiency, and protection. So it also forms part of our Nestle's Caring for Water campaign. We believe at Nestle that the access to water is a human right. That's why we focus our efforts and resources on 4 key areas. 1, in our factories, so we continuously improve water use efficiency. 2nd, in watersheds, working with partners to protect shared water resources and across our agricultural supply chain. And 4, in the communities where we are present to widen access to clean water and sanitation. Tulad po ng mga programs rin ng mga schools that were presented earlier. So as part nito the National Search for Sustainable and Eco-Friendly Schools, so we had an opportunity to learn about the great initiatives of the schools around the country. So what you can see in the slide is just a few of the environmental protection and conservation programs that was shared to us. Yung mga shinare po ng ating mga from the school earlier talagang, these are what I read about all the programs in 2019 and really a best practice that we always learn from even in the private sector. So we are truly inspired by the forest protection program and the rainwater collection system. So these are programs that Nestle is fully aligned with. Just recently, we announced that we will be planting 3.5 million native trees and bamboo clumps in Mindanao in the next 3 years. So we're excited with this initiative, and it's just not about planting trees. It's about local jobs, local food security, of course, rural development, and opportunities for the future. And we all know that bamboos is also helps sequester carbon. That's why this is also a priority for the company. So aside from the water conservation programs, so the schools also shared best practices in managing solid waste and helping mitigate climate change. So we can see here on the left, there's the presence of a materials recovery facility in school that encourages students to segregate waste properly. And to the right is at Zamboanga University of Zamboanga, the use of the renewable energy are best practices that stood out. So our factories run on, like some of the schools, our factories also run on renewable electricity. And we also have MRFs as well. So this helps us reduce energy usage and, more importantly, divert the waste away from the landfill or oceans. So we are also working to educate consumers about solid waste management. Ito po, even during the pandemic, together with DepEd and the National Solid Waste Management Commission, we developed modules for over 20,000 public schools. Along with we have guide materials for parents and for teens that can be used at home. So you may go to our website. You can freely download this module so that you can use and are easy to understand for both the parents and the kids. So punta na po kayo sa website and mata-download niyo po yan for access to everyone. Ayan po. So the National Search for Sustainable and Eco-Friendly Schools and the Nestle Water Leadership Awards are really programs that is best in class. So I will quote nga Yusek Kuna when we had our MOA signing 2 years ago, said, "It is creating long-lasting behavioral solutions to the problem of Manila Bay, Boracay, other ecotourism destinations of the country, and other environmental climate challenges of the country." So these are types of programs that we should continue and scale up so we can help mitigate climate change. So yun po, so kami po, we recognizing that the urgency to do more to mitigate climate change, what we are now focusing on developing and broadening our initiatives. That's why Nestle made a climate pledge to achieve net zero greenhouse gas emissions by 2050 at the latest. So ito po, we've been sharing this to our stakeholders. This is our net zero roadmap. So what you can see here that perhaps some of our schools can also learn from. It's quite a big slide, yes, and others say it's quite ambitious. But the challenges that we face in the planet demands us to be ambitious, di po ba? So we are this committed. And this roadmap shows us a time-bound action plan across our value chain, including setting interim targets and consistent with the Paris Agreement. Yan po. So, to get to net zero, meron po kaming parang how we have 3 strategic impact areas. So, first is how we source responsibly. Second is how we are transforming our operations. And third is shaping a waste-free future. So our net zero commitment and these 3 impact areas is fully aligned with the NSES goals to promote environmental protection and preservation. So we say that we have more work to do and we have much to learn from all of you here. So from all this, from the schools and of course from our partners in the ENR and EMB. So this is why collaboration with you, our stakeholders, and harnessing the power of youth is of utmost importance to us. So a few weeks ago, we launched Climbathon, on the left, our race towards a net zero reality. So Climbathon is a climate hackathon for the youth. So this is in partnership also with the Climate Change Commission. So it's an innovation lab focused on new and workable solutions that can help address current issues and challenges relating to the climate crisis. So in-invite po namin na we want the youth to amplify the voice of the youth, of your students, and highlight their capability to develop and implement meaningful climate action. So this is still open up until December 31. And I will share in the chat later a link where you can see the mechanics of the Climbathon program that I hope your students will have the opportunity to join also, because their prices are around 100,000 for first prize, 50,000 for second prize, and 40,000 for third prize. But more importantly is they will also be mentored by subject matter experts on climate change. Yan po. So also, meron din po kaming in partnership with UPLB, so we also embedded the net zero pillars to one of the foundation courses in business. So yung idea kasi is to increase awareness of the students on what is this net zero and how do we get to the net zero commitment that will help us together as a nation accelerate achieving a net zero future. So iyan po ay, so in celebrating our 110th year in the country as the Good Food, Good Life company, we wish to leave the legacy of a cleaner, healthier, and more livable planet for the sake of our children and generations still to come. So on behalf of the 5,000 plus employees of Nestle in the Philippines and our partners, congratulations to the EMB for this successful event. And we call on to join you on this journey sa kasambuhay for the environment, because we can only make this happen if we work with each other now. So maraming salamat po. I'm looking forward to again meeting all of you in the future. Thank you very much.
Ayun, maraming salamat ng malaki, Miss Christine, for sharing with us what you do in Nestle for our environment and sa country in general. I mean, 8 years of work for the environment is no joke. Ang tagal nung 8 years. May mga relasyon nga tayong hindi umaabot ng 2 years, pero 8 years. Tas work for the environment, talagang nakakapanghanga in the work that you do, especially because your approaches are always multi-stakeholder.
Yes, that's right.
There's also a conscious effort talaga to move forward for the environment. So, ayun, Nestle isang napaka-responsableng kumpanya for our environment, at sana ay magpapatuloy pa kayo in the work that you do. And speaking of magpapatuloy, our Zoom chat box and Facebook comment section are open for your thoughts and questions. Just quickly, no, in the interest of time, let's open the floor for question and answer. And to the rest of you, by the way, our audiences who asked kanina, ni Miss Elizabeth, Miss Athena, and Miss Maria, they will reply to you via PM or via the chat na lang so that they can answer your questions. But right now, dito po tayo kay Ma'am Christine. Do you have any questions for Ma'am Christine so far? Ayun, we have from EMB 5. Hi Ma'am, thank you for your continuous support to the search and for your initiatives on environmental protection and conservation. It was observed on the previous search that schools have concerns about submission of the special awards. They would love to know more about Nestle Water Leadership Award, where they can align their activities in their schools, especially from far-flung areas. Is there a way to assist them? Ayun.
Okay, could you repeat that again, Reen, for my better understanding?
Yeah, so really, ma'am, they were the question really revolves around in the previous searches how they were concerns about submission of the special award. So our people would love to know more about Nestle Water Leadership Award and how they can align their activities in their school, especially the ones that are for far-flung areas.
Okay, maybe it's the system of submitting the entry. So that's a very good input. So together with the NREMB, we will take all those inputs, and as they rightfully said, we have to make sure that this program is accessible to everyone, especially from the far-flung area. So that's something that we can consider in the future programs.
Yun.
Thank you.
Yeah, Ma'am, while waiting, we can entertain one or two more questions if there are. But while waiting for our questions, if ever there, our audience are still thinking, could you share with us any success story from your end, like personally, in the 8 years that the program has done? What have you seen that parang nasabi mo talaga, super successful nung the work that we do?
Yeah, I think, in reference to the Nestle Water Leadership Awards, always, be it in the private sector or in the academy, is really you can see the impact if there's a change of behavior of the students, because it's not just a nice to have program in your schools or in our company. So you can see that it's part of their strategy. It's that sustainability is embedded in the schools or the private sector strategy. There is investment also that is given, since it is a priority, and then you can see the change of behavior without even, you can see the culture of the school. Once you enter the school, you can see that there is a sustainability in their behavior as well, embedded in them. So I think that is for me one of the key success factors. Yun yung aking, as an indication that your program is working and truly something to learn from and scale up also in other schools.
Best effort talaga, no, ma'am, is when we are able to see the advocacy, see environmental sustainability being lived in our lives, not just in our practices at school or our systems. Ayun. So maraming salamat, ma'am. Since there are no more questions, Ms. Christine, thank you so much for joining us. Maraming salamat din sa mga nagtanong. Thank you as well to our partners in the private sectors. We hope that you will not get tired of your mission towards the earth and its sustainability and the earth that we live in. Truly, ang pagtitipon na ito ay isang mensahe na lahat tayo nagsisikap para mabigyan ng solusyon ang mga problema sa klima ngayon at sa hinaharap. Of course, we are very grateful to the Environmental Management Bureau and the Department of Environment and Natural Resources for putting these stories together. Bago po umalis si Ms. Christine, we would like to express our gratitude as well for her presence today by our certificate of appreciation. So the same certificate is given to Ms. Christine Ponce Garcia from Nestle Philippines. So maraming salamat talaga, Ms. Christine, for coming over to today's conversation.
Maraming salamat din po sa inyo. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you po. Ayun. Ang dami kong natutunan this morning. Ibang level. So as a product, kaya ko lang to i-mention, but I'm also a product of an awarded school for being environmentally sustainable and eco-friendly. So naalala ko nung batang estudyante pa ako ng St. Paul University, Dumaguete. Super strict yung pag-segregate. At yung frequent trips namin, meron kami frequent trips sa MRF namin or Materials Recovery Facility. At na-realize ko by when I was invited to join today's event, dati pa pala na natuto na akong mahalin ang kalikasan at nakikita ko na yon na itong program, the awarding, the recognition of the National Search and Sustainable and Eco-Friendly Schools was my awareness dati para sa kalikasan. So it was really this program really planted a seed in me like 10 years ago that made me grow my love for the environment, and now I work in an NGO for environmental storytelling. But so much about my childhood. To formally end the National Search for Sustainable and Eco-Friendly School Partners Forum, may I now invite Engineer Visminda A. Osorio, the Assistant Director of the EMB, to deliver her closing address. Ayan. So while waiting for Engineer Visminda, I would like to reiterate yung sinabi ko kanina na yung mga tanong ninyo po, please just chat them in the Zoom chat box, because our speakers will get back to you via the chat box as well para ma-share nila sa inyo yung mga best practices nila at yung mga programs na pwede ninyong kopyahin and i-benchmark sa inyong mga lugar. But so far, I would like to ask, ano yung favorite natin na natutunan today? Ayun, let's hold that thought. Mamaya na natin pag-usapan yung ating mga pinaka-favorite na natutunan. I think Engineer Visminda is already ready. Tama ba ako? Ayun, wala pa pala si Engineer Visminda. Mahirap talaga pag nasa Pilipinas ka, ang lakas-lakas ng wifi natin, ang dami nating perfect yung wifi natin, kaya iba ang Pilipinas sa wifi. But anyway, Ma'am Cheryl has a question, but we can try, maybe someone from ENB can answer this. Hello po, clarify ko lang po, bali forum po muna tayo today. Wala pa pong contest, tama po ba? Do you have anyone from EMB to answer? Okay, so since... All right. Sige, Ma'am Sherry, let's hold that thought. Again, we would like to welcome Engineer Visminda A. Osorio, the Assistant Director of the EMB, to deliver her closing address. Magandang umaga po, Engineer.
Thank you, Rain Anthony. Thank you very much. Okay, so muli isang maganda at makakalikasang umaga po sa ating lahat. So I think we have come to the end of our partners forum for the National Search for Sustainable and Eco-Friendly Schools. So of course, in behalf of the Environmental Management Bureau, allow me to thank everyone for your time and your contributions in making this forum a success, and even given the short time that we have. So I am very pleased to see our partners from the Department of Education, the Commission on Higher Education, the Technical Education and the Skills Development Authority, yung TESDA, and even our long-time partners like Nestle Philippines and the One Miracle Foundation. Thank you very much. And of course, to all the representatives from our winning schools, thank you. And of course, you are all the reason why we are inspired to continue and further improve the implementation of this program. Thank you very much for your support. So we at the Environmental Management Bureau remained firm in our commitment to the implementation of RA 9512. And that is one of our mandates and also one of our major environmental laws that we have here in the country. So after all, protecting and conserving the environment and our natural resources will not be possible without the proper education, awareness, and behavioral change, which should start in our respective homes and in schools also. So, of course, more than the prestige of winning and being recognized in this national search, we want to send also the message that any school set a good example to other schools so that they too can adopt the same sustainable practices, ideas, technologies, and innovations in promoting environmental education, especially awareness on pressing environmental issues among students, faculty members, and school officials. So with that, I would like to reiterate our appreciation and gratitude to all our partners for their continued support of our national search program. Hopefully, we can get more partners on board and more undertakings to propel this program to new heights. And let me assure you that we at the Environmental Management Bureau will do everything we can to make the next leg of this national search a very successful one. And we can do it through your help and support. So let us work together to make the Philippines a nation of sustainable and eco-friendly education. Dahil ako, ikaw, tayo ang kalikasan. Maraming salamat po at good morning everyone. Back to you, Rain.
Ayun, maraming salamat, Engineer Visminda. Thank you din so much for believing in the mandate of EMB. Alam natin na we can deliver, we can only do so much, pero the work that you do sa EMB under everybody's leadership, especially yours, is, you know, very progressive po yung mga ginagawa niyo sa EMB. So maraming salamat po for all the support that you do and you give to our environmental programs. Before po tayo move formally end, can we ask everyone to turn on their cameras for at least 10 seconds for a very quick photo opportunity? Sayang naman din po gumising kayo ng maaga tapos hindi makita yung beautiful and handsome faces ninyo. Ayun.
Meron pala tayong mga regional directors na nandito eh. Nakita ko si RD Ray.
Yes, meron po. We're joined by a lot of
Hello,
people.
RD Ray.
Good morning, Edie. Good morning. Good morning, Rain. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning po. Magandang umaga. Ayun.
So, Lilaine, po tayo.
Okay lang. Quick photo up lang po. 3, 2, 1. Smile. Second panel po.
Ayun, kasi marami tayo ngayon. Marami tayo ngayon. So, smile lang po.
Ready na po. 3, 2, 1. Smile. Third panel po.
Nakita ko din si Director Ellen na. Hi, Ellen.
Third panel po. Ayun. Ano po. Thank you.
Okay na po. Back to Ryan. All right. Maraming salamat everyone. Today has been a full circle moment for me in the environmental story I live. I am so grateful and honored to be part of this. I have always believed that my education was the first to witness my profound love for the environment. And this program of EMB planted that seed in me more than 10 years ago. I've hosted many events during the quarantine and lockdown, but I have to say that this has been one of the most meaningful and personal yet. Maraming salamat for showing up and for listening to the stories we presented today. We are now at the end of our program for this morning, but the mission for the earth continues. Remember that this mission is a collective and community effort. Go out and tell your stories, tell the stories you heard today. I hope you spend the rest of your day inspired and happy. Magpapatuloy, hindi magpapatinag. Ilalaban natin ang ating pagmamahal para sa kalikasan. Once again, this has been Ryan Esolana from AYEJ. Congratulations, everybody. And don't forget, the stories of the earth count on you for them to be told. Stay safe, get vaccinated, and as we always say in AYEJ, let the earth be heard. Ingat palagi at maraming salamat. Good morning.
Thank you. Thank you and keep safe everyone. Thank you, Ryan.
Ingat po.
Kailangan naman po, Engineer. Maraming salamat.
Thank you.